Why does the presence of a dog calm a room more deeply than silence? What is it about their gaze, still, ancient, unwavering, that reminds us of something forgotten, something primal? In the flood of noise, in the age of speed, in the pursuit of progress, we have become estranged from nature's softest emissaries. Not the winds, nor the stars, but the four-legged guardian curled by our side, the one who does not speak, yet says everything, the one who does not promise, but always stays. There was a time when people listened to the earth, when animals were not owned, but honored, when prophecy did not come in thunder, but in the stillness between heartbeats. Now, in this time of subtle unraveling, we are being reminded again. The prophecy about dogs is not one of destruction. It is one of remembrance. Let us begin. We often speak of dogs as companions, as loyal friends, as protectors of the home, but beneath that simplicity is something far more mysterious, more ancient, more metaphysical. Dogs do not merely accompany us, they attune to us. They become living mirrors of our inner world, absorbing the energies we emit unconsciously. When you enter your home heavy with worry, the dog does not ask questions. It does not reason or judge. It absorbs. Its body softens near you. Its breath slows to match yours. You may not notice this, but your nervous system does. Your soul does. It begins to regulate, not because you understand what's happening, but because you're in the presence of resonance. Edgar Cayce once said that all healing is vibrational, that every cell, every spirit responds to frequency. Dogs are the embodiment of this principle. They are not guided by intellect or ego, but by vibration. They respond to authenticity, to truth, to emotional consistency. They detect the dissonance between what you say and what you feel. And without needing to point it out, they hold space for it. Have you ever seen a dog avoid someone, even when that person is smiling? Or growl softly at an empty hallway when the room is quiet? These are not instincts of fear. They are responses to energy. What we call supernatural, they experience as natural. To them, sensing the invisible is not mystical, it is survival. As we move deeper into the age of emotional fragmentation, scrolling, numbing, escaping, dogs are serving as the last bridge back to feeling. They remind us, wordlessly, that presence is not a performance. It is an alignment. They do not demand your attention, they invite it. And when you do give it, when you sit with them, truly sit, without your phone, without your deadlines, just sit, you may feel something awaken, a strange peace, a quiet understanding, as if you are returning to a home you didn't realize you left. This is not coincidence. This is resonance. Dogs, acting as tuning forks, help recalibrate us. They take in the static we cannot process. They transform it into calm. But this gift is not without cost. Many dogs grow ill from stress, not their own. They carry the burden of households that cannot name their pain. And yet they do it with joy, with tail wags, with soft eyes, because they are still in alignment with something we have forgotten, the sacredness of service. The prophecy is not that dogs will save us. The prophecy is that they are already trying to, one soul at a time, one vibration at a time, and if we would only slow down long enough to notice, we might begin to heal with them. In recent years, subtle signs have emerged. Dogs that once slept peacefully through the night now wake with a start, pacing rooms with restless energy. Some bark without reason. Others retreat into corners, gazing at walls, refusing food, trembling for no apparent cause. Veterinarians offer physical explanations. Behaviorists suggest training. But what if it is something deeper? Cayce often emphasized that changes in global consciousness precede visible upheavals, that the invisible shifts, the ones felt in dreams, in intuition, in the animal kingdom, signal what is coming before it arrives in form. Dogs, being energetically porous, are the first to feel it. When the earth trembles with electromagnetic unrest, they feel it in their bones. When the human collective surges with fear, confusion, or rapid disconnection, they absorb it, not as ideas, but as sensations. And because they are not cut off from instinct the way we are, they respond. These behavioral changes are not random. They are messages. When a dog begins to act differently, it may not be that something is wrong with them. It may be that something is changing around them and through us. Many people have noticed that their dogs are more sensitive than ever, startled by sounds they once ignored, barking at people who appear calm on the surface, clinging to their humans during emotional breakdowns with a level of intensity that feels intentional. This is not mere pet behavior. It is empathic surveillance. Dogs are scanning the field, monitoring shifts in the home. They are responding to energies long before humans are even aware something is off. And this isn't limited to individual homes. In many regions, shelters are reporting spikes in dogs arriving with signs of anxiety, trauma, or unexplained behavioral distress. Could it be that our collective tension is radiating outward? That the emotional pollution of a divided, overstimulated society is echoing into the very beings designed to stabilize us? Dogs cannot speak in our language, so they speak through action, through stillness, through behavior. And their message is becoming clearer. Something is changing. Whether it is the Earth's magnetic resonance, the thinning veil between emotional realms, or the unraveling of societal norms, we do not know in full. But the dogs feel it. And they are trying to warn us, not with fear, but with presence. They bark when we disconnect. They whine when we lie to ourselves. They act out when the energy in the room becomes too thick with unspoken things. The prophecy Cayce hinted at was not dramatic. It was quiet. A change that would first be seen in the animals. A stirring, a dissonance, a reaching out. It is happening now, all around us, if only we would look not just at our dogs, but through them. They are our mirrors, our protectors, our early warning system. And they are telling us, something is rising, the world is shifting. Return to presence, or suffer the cost of forgetting. There is something sacred about loyalty, not the kind born from obligation, but from knowing. Dogs do not stay because they must. They stay because they remember. And perhaps we, in our forgetfulness, have overlooked what they've always known. Throughout history, dogs have been more than animals. They've stood at the gates of myth and mystery. Anubis, the guide of souls in Egyptian lore, the black dog at the crossroads of Celtic legend, the silent guardian beside the lonely monk in Himalayan caves. These were not coincidences. They were echoes of a truth buried beneath time. Dogs have always walked between the worlds. Edgar Cayce spoke gently about these truths. He described dogs not only as earthly companions, but as spiritual intelligences, extensions of divine memory placed into form. In trance, he saw them as emissaries, sent to guide, comfort, and observe the soul's evolution from a place of silence. And now, in this hour of internal collapse and outer chaos, that prophecy is stirring. It is not loud, not forceful, but unmistakable. Look closely. More dogs are coming into people's lives unexpectedly, strays appearing at doorsteps, rescues forming unshakable bonds within days, dogs showing signs of acute awareness, guarding not against intruders, but against despair. They are arriving at times of spiritual need. Many who are awakening, those hearing the subtle call to reconnect with the soul, to pull away from noise, are being followed by pause. And it is not because they need a pet. It is because the soul, in its most fragile stages, requires a sentinel, someone who will watch in silence, someone who will not demand clarity, but offer constancy. Dogs are fulfilling this prophecy not through action, but through presence. They are stepping into roles once held by sages. And yet they do not need robes, or altars, or titles. Just a corner of your room and your trust. The prophecy Cayce hinted at was that when mankind began to spiritually starve, dogs would emerge not just as friends, but as keepers of forgotten knowledge. They would serve not to fetch or perform tricks, but to hold the emotional line, to anchor the human in the body, to remind the spirit of stillness, to teach the heart how to stay open in a world that is closing. Many people have begun to sense this. They say their dogs know things, that their dog responded to grief before the tears even came, that their dog nudged them awake moments before a nightmare began, that their dog stood between them and a decision they could not name, but one that would have broken them. This is not fantasy. This is alignment. When the heart cannot speak, the dog becomes its voice. When the world forgets the soul, the dog remembers it for us. And if you sit long enough beside a loyal companion, you may hear something far deeper than a bark. You may hear the echo of a vow made long before this life. I will find you when you forget. I will stay when you run. And I will wait until you remember. In a world so loud with opinion, so fractured by speed, it is empathy that is bleeding first. And yet, in this fading light, the dog remains unchanged. They have no concept of status, no care for your political stance, no concern for your mistakes. They care how you feel when you walk through the door. They sense the tremor in your voice. They smell sadness on your skin. And they respond, not with solutions, but with presence. This is empathy in its most ancient form, unspoken, unconditional, unflinching. Cayce often said that the path to higher consciousness must begin with the heart, not the mind. That evolution is not about intelligence, but compassion. That souls must relearn the art of feeling before they are trusted with power. Dogs are teaching this lesson every day, silently, patiently. In a time where people are turning numb, overstimulated, overconnected, yet deeply alone, dogs continue to open emotional channels we didn't know were blocked. They make people cry when they haven't cried in years. They soften those who have armored themselves for decades. They calm children without words and comfort elders without pity. This is no small thing. This is the recalibration of the collective heart. Empathy is not just a virtue, it is a frequency, one that heals bodies, softens wars, dissolves trauma. And dogs are tuned to it like a note they never forgot. Watch a dog comfort a stranger in pain. Watch them sit beside a sick body for hours without rest. Watch how they return again and again to the one who screams the most, not because they enjoy it, but because they know the scream is the soul begging to be held. They are not animals, they are instruments of emotional restoration. The prophecy is this: when the world begins to forget how to feel, when eyes grow blind to suffering that does not directly affect them, when the self becomes louder than the soul, dogs will rise in subtle revolt. They will stand in silence. They will love harder. They will feel deeper. And in doing so, they will teach us what it means to be whole again. Many people who have suffered great emotional trauma report one thing: it was their dog who got them through it, not their therapist, not their friends, not their family, but the warm body that laid against theirs, night after night, saying nothing, needing nothing, offering everything. This is not coincidence. This is alchemy. We are being taught by example what it means to live with an open heart. And if we're willing to listen, not just with ears but with our spirit, we may remember that empathy is not something to be learned, it is something to be remembered. And in the quiet breath of a dog sleeping beside you tonight, you may feel it stir again. There is a reason the dog is always near, not just near your feet, but near your frequency. You may believe you chose them, that you adopted, purchased, or rescued, but deeper currents have always guided true companionship. The dog was not drawn to your image. It was drawn to your energy, to a pattern in your soul that mirrored a quiet assignment of its own. Presence, not as a practice, not as a performance, but as prophecy. In Cayce's view, prophecy was not always prediction. It was often a mirror, an inner condition waiting to be made visible. When he spoke of future changes, he emphasized their roots in spiritual imbalance. He believed what manifests outwardly first gestates inwardly, unseen, unmeasured. Dogs understand this law effortlessly. They do not live in clocks. They do not mourn what is gone, nor worry about what is next. They are here, fully, every moment, every breath, every glance. And in this presence, they teach us the greatest forgotten truth. Time is an illusion. Healing happens now. The prophecy about dogs is not that they will grow wings. It is that we will finally see them as they are. Sentinels of stillness. Healers by design. Carriers of sacred presence in a world that abandons silence. And now, as the outer world fragments and fractures, dogs remain a spiritual tether. Their very existence is a teaching, a sermon with no words, a vibration that heals without hands. You don't have to be spiritual to feel it. You don't have to understand metaphysics to witness it. You simply have to notice the way your dog watches you when you cry, the way it lies near your weakest points when you are sick, the way it refuses to leave even when the room grows dark with fear. This is presence. And this presence is the prophecy, not a foretelling of disaster, but a calling to return to what is real, to what is still, to what is sacred. In the noise of the modern world, something ancient is whispering. It does not demand your attention. It does not shout. It simply waits, at your side, watching you, feeling you. Your dog is not a pet. It is a bridge between seen and unseen, between distraction and devotion, between the ego's voice and the soul's silence. Edgar Cayce taught us that healing would come not in the explosions of prophecy, but in the remembrance of spiritual laws, laws woven into nature, into vibration, into the very breath of those who walk this earth beside us. Dogs have always known these laws. They do not speak them, they live them. And now, as the veil thins and the energy shifts, their presence is becoming more vital than ever. Not because they are changing, but because we are beginning to see. The prophecy about dogs is not written in ancient scrolls. It's written in every moment you pause long enough to feel them breathing beside you. In every quiet glance they give when your heart breaks. In every loyal act that echoes a truth long buried. That love is a frequency, and those who master it don't need to speak. They just stay. And now, it's your turn to stay, to listen, to remember, to return. The prophecy is happening now, not in fire, but in fur, not in thunder, but in presence. Let it reach you. Let it soften you. Let it bring you home.